Here I messed up and I didn't even start recording. That was the main thing. Thanks. Wake up, Johnny. We have no audio for you. Wake up.
Hello.
There you are. There you are.
Hi. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I will not be participating as a candidate.
Okay. So at this point then, of the four of us here, then it's myself and the other Simon. I'll come out right away and just state that I have no expertise in anything to do with computer programming or anything, just the passion for what EOS, Eden EOS is going to do. That's it in a nutshell. So, so I'll turn it over to you, Simon.
Thank you very much. I'm personally following EOS since the ICO, and I was very fascinated from the groundbreaking technology. I mean, you barely can make every middleman optional. The only limits for EOS are the laws, and till then, I try to inform myself much better, but I think I'm personally coming from Germany, and it's very difficult to understand these scientific texts, and that's why I tried to participate, because I wanted to use the 1000 EOS to translate the informations to let's grow the community in Germany too. And I also tried to translate his book, and I have to say I don't know how long it will take me to finish it. And I think when the price is rising and the community is growing, there are a lot of people who are interested in it, and we should not frustrate them with not giving them any information. So I would use this 1000 EOS to translate as much information as possible. Okay. What do you think about that?
I guess I didn't really state what I would use the funds for if I were to be the winner, but it would basically be I would have to go through and probably just look for anything that would make it easier to get onboarded. I know that's one of the things that Dan's talked about from the beginning, that until we get to that point where we're actually it's easy to get onboarded. There's just too many things that are. It's getting better. It's getting better.
Yeah, I think the main problem is maybe the account creation. I guess the only way to generate an account for free is Wombat, isn't it? I guess this is a barrier too, but this is already solved. But if we reach new community members and they try to inform themselves and only getting frustrated with the language barriers, I guess they could leave and maybe join to other communities where it's much easier to inform themselves. What do you think? Are wallets maybe even much better to develop at the moment?
Okay, that's one of the things that I'm a little confused, and maybe Zach, maybe you can help us out in this. Maybe you know sort of what's going on as far as this. So in real life and in the real life election process, if we had 20 people in this room, we would have to come to a almost, like if we had 10 people that were voting for one person and 10 people voting for another person, we wouldn't be able to leave until we came to a full consensus. That's one of the things that I'm a little confused on, I guess. Or the winner of, let's just say we had a winner by majority in this group, then that would be the winner that would go on to another runoff type of a thing. Anybody, any info on that or anything?
Yeah, that's That's interesting. It's 2/3 plus one majority vote, correct?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine it will stall out in some cases across so many people, of course, at a larger scale.
Right.
So I guess it would be a matter of going through the points that people have, or addressing questions with opinions in order to sway people. But
which is easy to do when there's 4 of us and we have 50 minutes.
Right.
But if we had 10 or 12 people in 50 minutes,
Yeah.
that's my biggest concern, is how do you reach consensus? Like, I can't get to know someone in 5 minutes, and then you wouldn't, like, right now we're just bullshitting, but if this was a full room, we wouldn't have the luxury of time to ask follow-up questions.
Right.
But I guess that's assuming all 10 people in the room are running also. I don't know, like, I just got other stuff going on today. I can't do a bunch of calls. So that's my reasoning. But for the real election, obviously I'll set aside the entire day. But I'm very concerned about that, with, like, how do you present an idea in 5 minutes, especially like with so much EOS at stake? It's like, it's tough. You can't really, you could deceive people easily. Like, you could like just not fully understand stuff, because not everyone's going to know each other's backgrounds. So it's pretty much.
Well, it's my understanding that in the future, it's going to be basically Eden EOS members that have been already vetted. Right.
Yeah, you can't. I mean,
and
yeah, but you're vetted as far as, like, there's a lot of people I talk to regularly. I think I trust them, but I don't know if they'd win the entire thing, but I think what's some of the lower prizes are like 10,000 EOS didn't seem like a lot a week or two ago. Now it's a lot more. All right. I think 100 people get 1,000 EOS. I think that's the lowest rank, which is what the winner of this entire thing today gets. Like, that's 10 grand. And it's really easy to pilfer away money without really any accountability. And it's like, I don't know, like, what the overseeing will be. Like, for example, Simon, you're talking about translating. Like, I have no reason to not believe you. Like, if that's something that, like, I wanted to support, I could vote for it. But then, like, after a year, like, I don't know, like, if you got 1,000 EOS, let's say this is the general election. If you got 1,000 EOS, like, do you pay yourself those 1,000 EOS? Do you pay, like, third-party translators, like, dollars, and you cash out the EOS? So it's like, there's a lot of different things you could do. Are you paying, like, your, like, third-party contractors that you actually know, and you could skim money without it really being noticeable. And, like, I don't know how to really avoid any of that. I mean, you just gotta, I guess, trust people and trust that more people do right than wrong, because there will be waste. But as long as the majority of people are doing more good than harm, I still find it hard to believe that we could ever be in a worse spot than we were for the last 3 years with no community funding at all. So it's really just a trade-off there. It's like, okay, yeah, we're going to have some waste, but we're also going to create a lot of really good stuff, and we're going to have really motivated people. Because even in the first year of EOS, before the block producers were paying out all of the rewards and stuff, like, one of the issues was, like, a lot of these people came from, like, tech backgrounds, so they instantly gave themselves, like, top tier salaries as, like, block producer, like, DevOps people, for example. And that's fine. Like, you might be worth that money, but it's like, there was a lot of waste. Like, what do we really have to show? So, like, we went after the voting rewards started, there's a lot thinner margin for the block producers, and a lot of them just kind of checked out and started doing the bare minimum. But at the end of the day, that's what they do as infrastructure providers. And that's what Eden's for, is to do everything else. So if BPs are just meant to do infrastructure, Eden is what can do everything else.
But isn't there, sorry if I interrupt.
No, go for it. I'm just bullshitting.
But isn't there in the instruction written that we should not think about, maybe voting for the completely wrong person, because everyone who is involved in it is already vetted before by some other guys?
I mean, when you say vetted though, you need, so all it is you need 3 current members. It's like a web of trust. You need 3 current Eden members to invite you and be on a call like this.
I just said vetted because it's written like that in the instruction.
Yeah, vetted meaning like we know you, like it's not like you're friends in real life necessarily, but you might have seen this person around for a while and you know they're a real person, you know they're an actual community member and not like a bot. I mean, I don't know how you could be a bot on here, but it's vetted to the extent of I know you're a real person, you're actually in the community and you're not probably going to do anything malicious. But I don't like really like we aren't all really going to know each other. So like it's vetting, but it's not like I wouldn't co-sign a loan for like everyone that I would necessarily invite to Eden.
Right.
Like that's what I mean. So like there's only a minimum amount of trust there. Like different people are gonna have different levels of trust. Like whenever we hop on these calls, like some of you guys might kind of know me from the community, but like I don't think I know any of you guys. I don't know if I've talked to any of you guys before. But then like, I think every call is going to be like that with 10 people. Like you might recognize like 1, 2, or 3 people and you at least know that they bring the reputation with them. They'll probably stand somewhat of an advantage because they don't need to like sell themselves on being trustworthy and having a reputation because they just kind of built it up over the last 3 or 4 years. But as far as what we got to do in this call, I think we'd have to reach 3 out of 4 consensus here. So there's only 2 candidates. So if you both vote for yourselves, right? Or do we want to get a consensus of all 4?
Well, you know, that's all. I mean, that would be something that would be a consensus, you know.
All right, so let's treat this like let's ask some questions as if this was a real one. So Simon, like all those translation questions I was asking, you said you would use all 1,000 EOS for translating. Would you do the translations yourself? And that's just kind of like taking a salary for yourself for all the work you've probably been doing for free up until now?
I tried it on my own, but it's pretty hard because it's pretty scientific book, and so I would pay a third-party dolmetscher.
Would it be like one person you would like find someone really good on Upwork or maybe someone in the community that has the right skill set and the time to do it and you come to an agreement just that one person?
If we could find a community member who's able to do it, why not? Because I mean, the more we work together, the more the culture I think is growing everywhere, or not? I think it's maybe even good, better if we try to find some new members to involve, so they can adopt our culture, or not?
Right. The other guy is Simon too. You just spell it like
like
however. I don't even want to try to say what it's spelled like.
Yeah, Simon Jesta.
All right, so I think I need a second shill from you. I gotta decide here.
Okay, well, you know, I guess I come to the community from Steemit days, and I got into Steemit probably later on I probably hit it like at the peak in 2017, because I think one of my first posts that I did, I actually made $20 or $30 on, and it just like, whoa, what the heck was that, you know? And then it just started going down from there, and that was my first exposure to Dan and his vision for you know, freedom and democracy, freedom and liberty. I don't want to get the democracy in there, I guess, but anyhow, you know, and then that all sort of went south, and for whatever reason, you know, but I've clung on to that vision that is there, and I think Dan has you know, brought that vision with him. I think he did, you know, to me it would be when the EOS, all the block producers started, I don't know that went the way that he thought it was going to go, or I don't know, because of the regulations. That was probably the biggest thing. I know he was trying to do this in, to keep the regulations going and stuff like that. And, but anyhow, as far as anything that I would be doing, I could see that I could even support Simon in his German translation. I tried doing some things in Turkish and just using a Google Translate, and holy cow, I decided that after the first paragraph of doing something, it was like, no way, this would need somebody that knows what they're doing as far as having expertise and stuff. So, but anyhow, that's it, I guess.
You want more detail about how you would budget the 1,000 EOS?
How I would budget it? I would probably go on, and I didn't even have a chance to. I have a night job. I didn't even have a chance last night to go through the Eden EOS community thing that has got some of the projects that people were looking for funding and stuff like that. As far as myself goes, I'm in a position now where I wouldn't use the funds for anything for me other than trying to get things going, sending it out to whoever would be deserving of it. And if that would be Simon, I would probably allocate, I don't know how much is considered something that would be allow somebody to do something with. But I could see breaking it down into 2 or 3 different projects, and picking 2 or 3 different projects. If there's only 2 projects, then 50-50 or something along that line. So
how would you decide, like, would you want the projects to come to you and apply, or would you seek them out and say, like, I really want to support you?
I would probably seek them out. And actually, I would probably seek them out and look for guidance from other members as well too. I would probably want somebody that's going to be, that's just not going to take the money and go.
How would you hold them accountable? Like, if it's like a team like Gray Mass, you could just be like, all right, here's 250 EOS. Just consider this a donation. Great work. So there's that kind of contribution, and that's going to be put to good use. But then there's other like independent people, like who you might not know as much as someone like Jesta from Gray Mass.
Right.
So would you require like payment in advance, payment upon work completion, like, or
I would probably, at this point, my technical abilities are such that I would have to just go for a blank check. This is a donation for you.
So you'd stick to high reputation people that are already pretty known, because that way there's the least risk there. You don't have to vet people; they're already vetted. Like
there is that, but I mean, you might have like Simon might have the greatest onboarding idea, and even beats out with
But I'm actually not even finished. I was pretty nervous in the beginning, but I'm calming down. And yes, I remember what I wanted to say also. And the thing is, why I wanted to be elected is, I have seen there's so much misinformation out there, and I had some discussions with some YouTubers who make educational videos, and I was just a nobody, just a random comment in the comment section. But I guess if I can go to them and tell them I'm the official alpha test winner, and I got a budget to educate people, maybe they would listen to me and spread factual reports over it. So I guess that would grow the community even more.
Okay, are you talking about community the Eden EOS or just EOS in general?
Everything, the whole thing from EOS to Eden OS, the book, the non-violence communication, everything, the whole EOS thing. So
Right.
the people who get attracted from the rising price in the next months have the possibility to inform and learn what EOS really is and maybe stick with us.
Right. Yeah, education is very important, no doubt about it. But that's the one thing that I guess, you know, without the action, it's all just talk and such. And I'm not saying that that's what you would be doing as such, but you know, I guess I look at it from more of the liberty standpoint. I come from a libertarian background, and you know, there's always the thing about herding cats and stuff like that. And when you herd cats, you know, nothing gets done. Everybody's on their own little thing doing something. That's where when Zach talking about helping fund already established projects and stuff can make a difference. Yeah. I would have no way of you know, back to your idea that you know, how would you know, like, okay, I'll give you half of the funds up front, half on completion, or half on you know, goals that you're looking for. You know, if we set a goal of some date or something like that.
So basically, there's two ways of doing it. There's like task-based, where like you're kind of micromanaging, and you're saying, and you wouldn't do that. You would just distribute the funds to someone else who would micromanage everything, and it's probably the better way, the more efficient way, at least.
Yeah.
Unless you have a specific thing that you want built or done, and you're not really campaigning on that, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Well, and back to Simon with his thing is, that's all education, and that's important. So. Education, anything to do with onboarding, making it easier, so that you don't even know that you're dealing with a blockchain type of a thing. I know that's one of the things that Dan has talked about way earlier on, with, you know, you wouldn't even know that you're dealing with the EOS blockchain. How about you, Johnny? Wake up.
Yeah, I guess I'm wondering if there's any projects in development right now that you'd be interested in funding, like a specific project, like Zach mentioned gray mass earlier.
Yeah.
Something like, oh yeah, I'd probably give 50% to fund Anchor Wallet. Just something specific.
Yeah, Anchor Wallet's made a lot of progress. Anything, I mean, Scatter is just a pain.
Scatter is just not being maintained. The Scatter guys had to go get full-time jobs.
Yeah.
It's part of the reason for Eden in the first place, is things like that happened, where
right.
They were the only wallet at launch.
Yeah.
And then they disappeared because they had to go work for Ultra, because Scatter as a business was not sustainable, because there's really not a business model around wallets. There's just not. You could do an ad model, like Token Pocket does a decent job. They have banner ads and sponsored dApps, and they recommend things, but like Anchor and Scatter, like neither of them have a model to monetize. And that puts them in a difficult position. Like MetaMask, the reason it's so successful on ETH is because they've got the consensus backing. They don't have to worry about a revenue model. They just have to worry about having a great product. And if I were to, like, that's why I'd always suggest anyone I'm voting for, like, if you're going to divvy up funds, like I'll mention gray mass all day.
Yeah.
Because if enough people contribute a little bit of EOS to them, it adds up.
Right.
And they could maybe bring on a dev to just work full time on the wallet, because right now, like their team's tiny,
Right.
and they've got other things going on
Yeah.
on top of the block production and Anchor.
Aside from that, you know, Vigor, I would, you know, when Vigor got started way back in the day, you know, I've got my Vigor that I got, but I never got one of the little things to put myself forward as a candidate. That and maybe FIO would be some of the.
How does FIO benefit EOS?
How
How does FIO benefit EOS specifically?
Acting
Like
as
I agree that FIO is a good project. I'm just saying.
But, I mean, it's my understanding that it would end up being as sort of like a bridge, allow inter-blockchain or different communications between different blockchains. Is that? I mean, that's my understanding. Sort of.
It's kind of like a single account name that's associated with wallets from other blockchains. So if you had like a FIO wallet and your username was Simon, if FIO supported Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and EOS, then I would just send you those tokens, and then it would be like there'd be a way to map. There's a way to map your username on FIO to all of your different wallet accounts on the other chains. That way I could just send it to Simon at ETH and it'll go to your ETH address. For example.
Well, you know, that's something that you bring up with that. Then, you know, like when you talk about how much does it, you know, you think there's going to be one blockchain to rule them all? I mean, no. And so, you know, I mean, I don't.
So for me personally, with this being the first Eden election and EOS being starved of capital for a very long time, I would not support anyone who was campaigning on anything outside of EOS specific projects. Like they could do other stuff, like Anchor works for other blockchains, but Anchor is a core foundational product to EOS. So that's just kind of me personally.
Well,
how I would vote.
Vigor is EOS specific, right? Are you still associated with them in any way?
I don't have time. I haven't been able to keep up since probably sometime in the fall, so I haven't been a custodian or following too closely. I saw that.
And I don't even know what decentralized finance thing that's EOS specific either.
There's so much going on.
So much going on. And that's part of the thing, you know. And I don't know. That's some way to get things consolidated to where people are a little more focused, and that gets back to education as well too. So, you know, you make a good point on keeping it specific.
I think for the real elections, everyone
needs
to be more polished. I think like I don't know who. There's probably some people on other calls taking this super seriously. They could maybe even share their screen and have a deck ready. Like that's the kind of stuff I want to see in July.
Right.
But
I will say this. I would not put myself up as a candidate come to the real election.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing this for the test thing anyhow.
Yeah.
So that's why the funds, it's not a big thing with me.
Yeah. So there's one winner of this thing out of the 64 people, just from who I saw in the call. Like, I don't think anyone on this call is going to win today. And I don't think that's a surprise to anyone.
Right.
But yeah, and I don't think any of the pitches today get through the first round in July either necessarily.
In moving forward with the consensus model, I would put forth a vote, and I'll vote first, and I'll vote for Simon 7XYZ. for the idea of going with the translation of Dan's book into German. I think that would be a good cause. Anything education-wise, at least at this level. So.
Thanks.
Well, the dude Dominic said, if you don't vote for yourself, you can't win. So I guess I'll also vote for Simon, just because I want someone to make it to the next round to share the legend of room 9.
Room 9.
I will. Thank you very much.
Who are you voting for, Simon?
I would vote for myself.
All right.
And Wake Up Johnny.
Well, I think we can call this a day.
All right.
Yeah, Simon 7 XYZ. Got my vote, man.
Thank you very much, man.
Okay, so we can, as far as I know, I think I can stop
then
this. We gotta
I
wait.
think we gotta put a message in.
Telegram.
Then we have to put a message in Telegram or something.
Yeah.
I mean, we could probably just look and see what everyone else is doing.
That's what I'll do that right now. So, and then I got to remember to. Actually, I got to get the recording up too. So.
Okay, so you just say room 9 vote.
Can we just do we each individually vote?
Yeah, I don't even know if we necessarily need to state our votes on the call or not. I'm not sure, but we definitely have to post it in Telegram. And Simon, you're recording this just.
I've recorded this yet. Yes.
Okay, good.
Thank you very much.
And actually, isn't Gray Mouse, are they German based? Where am I getting German?
They're in Detroit.
They're
not Detroit. They're not Detroit. They're from.
They're in a data. Well, some of their infrastructure is in Detroit, but yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember where they're from. They might actually.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the Midwest.
Somewhere, yeah, I don't remember. But I do know I run the infrastructure for EOS Detroit, and I remember going to a data center and finding out that Gray Mass was already there.
So, and I don't know if we just hang around or do we wait or what. I know that Dan will be looking at all of these videos. I think he's probably looking at one to figure out. But like you say, when you get 12 people in a room like this,
it's going to be tough if everyone's trying to win.
Yeah.
Definitely, yes.
But I think for it to work, like, we need numbers. Like, I think the number they're shooting for is 1,000 for July. And the only way we'll get to 1,000 is by having a lot of people that aren't campaigning. And so I think if it's like 50% campaigning, I think it might be barely enough time. But I still, like, once you get to the later rounds and we're like voting to distribute like 50,000 EOS, it's crazy to think that you could make that decision with less than an hour with trying to get to know multiple candidates. That's why for my campaign, I'll be campaigning in advance, trying to get it in front of as many of those 1,000 people as possible in advance. That way, by the time we do the political playoff, they might have already seen or heard something about my campaign. And if not, that's okay too. Pitched again.
Yeah. That's so. Where can't even think of it. Your partner, your former partner, or I'm getting old. I'm forgetting names. The guy with the sleeve tattoos.
Yeah, Rob. Yeah,
Rob. Jeez.
He's good. We're still buds. He just kind of left EOS a while back. It wasn't really meeting his expectations anymore. He's like kind of a unique position. He's like still really young, and he's got all the money he would ever need in his life, and he just does what he's passionate about. And for a while,
Good thing.
was his
Not
passion
bad.
as EOS, and lately, he's building like this crazy, I can't call it anything other than a citadel. Like he just bought like 200 acres. He's just like building out all of the land, like a farm and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Cool.
Wow.
It's his latest kick.
Keeps him going. And you're affiliated with Detroit EOS or EOS Detroit? Is that in some way, or as the blockchain producer, or?
Yeah, right. We're a block producer for EOS and a number of side chains, primarily EOS IO side chains. Yeah, it's been about a year now. I've been heading technical operations.
So would Eden EOS then be a side chain? Is that what that would end up being, or would they go as a flat out just basic use the EOS infrastructure and go from there?
I mean, I see it as mainly a means of organization to deal with the issues like that Zach mentioned earlier, where some of these BPs are doing the bare minimum and paying themselves out with their block producer rewards and not really recycling those resources back into the community to actually benefit it, which unfortunately is all too common. There might be 3 or 4 that in all of these BP community rooms, they're providing support and offering technical expertise where all you get is silence from even some of the high ranking,
some of the other ones,
BPs.
Yeah.
I
wish I was more technically inclined, but I was more into medicine stuff. So now I'm trying to catch up with trying to learn all this stuff. So
there's a lot to learn,
but
it's interesting stuff, and you know, I encourage anyone to dig in if they're interested.
So Simon, what do you got? Who is it? There's got to be somebody over in Germany that's block producer, right? EOS block producer. I don't know who that would be. You guys know? Like, got to be somebody, isn't there? Are you familiar with anybody over there?
Hey, sorry, I didn't understand what your question.
Do you have an EOS block producer that's German based? That's in the top 100 of the block producers for the EOS chain.
Maybe yes, but he's not delivering education or something. They're just doing this BP job, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's important, and unfortunately it's overlooked, where you should recycle some of these funds back into improving the infrastructure to actually benefit end users. But
hey guys, I think that we could probably leave the room now, because the main thing is going to be for you, Simon, that you're going to want to, when you log off of this, you're going to want to get your recording posted on the Pinata, and I will attempt to do that too. I'm not too sure. Last time I did this, my recording didn't record locally, and I don't know where it went, but I was on an iPad too. So, I will try and put that up on Pinata as well for a backup for you. But I know that they weren't going to have any concerns about it if it didn't happen. So, hey Zach, it was nice meeting you. I subscribe to your YouTube channel. I've been, but like, you know, there's so much stuff happening. You know, you only got so many hours in the day to look at stuff, and
yeah, I haven't had time to do much content lately. I've just like, I need someone to do what I was doing a year or two ago so that I could watch it and keep up, because I am just so busy anymore.
And it's moving fast now too. That's like I said, you know what's going on in the DeFi space. I mean, if DeFi EOS takes off, you know, I mean, all the money that's people are paying in gas fees and stuff like that for ETH, it's ridiculous, man. They are. So, and wake up, Johnny. It's been nice knowing you. I know somebody from EOS Detroit. And Simon 7XYZ, I'll be keeping track of you on EOS as well too. So we'll see how this all goes, and good luck to you. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna leave the room. So, all right, take care.